Here's a question for y'all. What defines an open source? Well, in short, if we're just talking about the code here, they allow programs to be freely used, modified, and shared. Some of the more popular open source licenses, though, that most people know about are Apache, Mozilla, and Eclipse. However, it looks like open source might have a big problem coming up these days, and some companies have a solution for it, but those solutions might not be so open. What's up, everybody? Will here, and thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys so much. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe to stay up to date, and let's just jump into it today. What was once a big step for the community has essentially backfired on big companies that work with open source. The company Elastic has essentially reignited the open source debate by announcing that they're no longer going to be using the, quote, open source license, but essentially recreating a license all their own to help protect their data. It's still going to be open to the public, however, you just won't be able to make a profit off of any of the derivatives that you make from it. Now, does this still make it open source? That is the question. Now, this issue has been around for quite some time, and this definitely isn't the first time we've heard of it. Redis Labs also decided to move to its own licensing, that way it can still remain open to the public, but protect its own code in the process. This has been a common trend among several of the companies that are in the open source platform, such as companies like Confluent, MongoDB, and several others. Now, the fear of the whole thing is that these smaller companies make a bit of program or a bit of code, and they put it on the open source platform. Well, a larger company like Amazon that's cloud-based comes in, snatches that bit of code and program, rekindles it into whatever they want to make it into, and then sells it off again, making a profit. And because they're much bigger, they can market much better, essentially taking the money and the thunder away from the original creator. Now, honestly, this fear is pretty valid. I mean, it's very understandable. However, this is something that should have been thought about before you even launched the program or the line of code itself as to whether to be open source or not. I mean, the very definition of open source allows companies to come in, take a piece of program or data and reuse it and make a derivative of it and run with that. I mean, it is open source after all. The thing here with open source is that it's more than just code. It's a community. It's not a brand. Luckily, there are some tech giants out there like Google and Red Hat that have been very successful in this open source platform. Meanwhile, others like Amazon might need a little work with their standing with the community first. I'd like to know y'all's thoughts on this whole open source debacle, and do you believe what Elastic and these other companies are doing is good or bad? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.